Hey YouTube, it's me, King Nazru. So, we just recently got quite a bit of news involving movies and games. And oh boy, are we in for a treat. So, first off, uh, earlier this week, we got to see the trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh, yeah, and oh boy, is it a good one. Okay, it starts off with Spider-Man free falling from a tall building and swinging off, and he's mentioning that the more times he saves people, the it causes a greater chance to that it will cause him to create more enemies, which is which is pretty interesting. I mean, which is pretty good because that is pretty much how Peter Parker thinks in the comics, uh, with his experience in life. That every time he's helping people, he tends to create more enemies because whenever he's doing good, it usually, I mean, it sometimes ends up being bad for someone else, which even caused him to quit being Spider-Man. Uh, and we also get to see Spider-Man stop Alexei Sidovich, aka the Rhino, uh, pre-Rhino, when he's doing a car chase scene. And we also can see a bit that Peter Parker is still developing his relationship with Gwen Stacy, and so clearly the movie's going to focus on that, and it's moving past the puppy love relationship in the past. I mean, the previous movie. And well, we also get to see that um, that that Peter Parker's father was a bit more involved with Oscorp than we realized. Uh, that his father, who had this secret lair, left this video saying that Oscorp is using his experiments for nefarious purposes and that somebody needs to stop them. And we also see that Peter Parker uh, was being watched by Oscorp, according to Harry Osborn, his best friend. And we don't know if Oscorp knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but it seems most likely that's the case. And if they know he's Spider-Man, then that's gonna add a whole lot of trouble to him. And we also get to see a sick Norman Osborn, so he clearly is dying. Uh, but just because he's sick doesn't mean he's out of the game and is trying to come up with his own agendas. And, and one of those agendas is creating the Sinister Six, because as we saw, there was six corridors, and referencing the Sinister Six, we also get to, and further confirmed this, we get to see the Man, the Shadows, walking past Doctor Octopus's tentacle arms, and Vulture's wings, and we also get to see Electro, and some recent news, and searching through websites, it shows that Oscorp uh, has staged Electro's accident. So that means that they're somehow involved in this. So, but I still hold to the idea that uh, Rhino will probably cause the accident by having Spider-Man fight him nearby Oscorp, wherever Max Dillon is, aka Electro, and during the fight it'll cause cause some kind of power outage, which causes Max Dillon to fall into the tank of the electric eels, and he'll become Electro through that means. And which also would probably mean that uh, the Rhino is working for Oscorp. But some people kind of believe that that might be the case because he had a suit of armor that looked like it was stolen. But I believe that Oscorp hired him to steal it, and they just made it seem staged that way. So back to the trailer, we get to see more of how powerful Electro is by causing blackouts in the city, destroying pretty much a good amount of Times Square. And we also get to see a little bit of the Green Goblin, but this time it's Harry Osborn, or it could be Harry Osborn or Norman. They could be going the Spectacular Spider-Man route, where we think it's Harry Osborn, but it's actually Norman Osborn. Or another theory could be that Harry Osborn thinks that the Goblin Serum can cure his father, but he wants to test it out to see if it's perfected. And I'm sure Electro will have some involvement in perfecting that serum before Norman Osborn takes it and becomes the real Green Goblin. So now some people believe that this might cause the movie to become pretty much like Spider-Man 3 was a chaotic mess. But I don't think it's going to be the case because it's not the fact that they have three villains. It's that they have three villains and tried to give them their own subplots. Now, instead of trying to integrate it into one single story. Now, here's how it would go. Like I said, Rhino will be there just to cause the accident that creates Electro, and it will be staged by Oscorp, and Electro will have some kind of deal with Oscorp, and they'll use Electro to help perfect the serum, which will cause either Harry or Norman to become Green Goblin. And we also get to see a nice bit of Spider-Man trying to dodge Electro when he's teleporting and shooting lightning, which was really awesome. So yeah, this is a really, really good trailer. I'm even more excited for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 than I ever was. And if this movie does well, I will finally have a Spider-Man 2 that I actually like. So, what else? Oh yes, we also got some news from the Daily Bugle viral videos. Viral feed that they're also mentioning other villains, and one of the particular had an article written by Eddie Brock, which most fans would know as the alter ego of Venom. So they're setting up Venom. Now I'm not entirely sure which Eddie Brock they'll use, like the Ultimate Eddie Brock, where he's the best friend of Peter Parker, or 616 Eddie Brock, where he's just a news reporter, coming from a rivaling company. Not rivaling company, from a rivaling news paper business than Peter Parker, and Peter Parker somehow ruins his life unintentionally, and that causes him to hate Peter when he becomes Venom. Now, I think they should go with the Spectacular Spider-Man route, since they should have a cross between the 616 and Ultimate Venom story, where it's Ultimate Eddie Brock, who's a friend of Peter Parker, since they're trying to do the part where Peter's parents were involved with Oscorp's scientific research, and all the villains are going to be from Oscorp. And so that would make sense to have Eddie Brock tied into there, since they're going with the theme that all Spider-Man's villains are tied with Oscorp. But I strongly want Venom to be the alien, because the man-made cancer origin, I just thought that was kind of stupid. Seriously, you made an intelligent, sentient creature to cure cancer, and this is the thing that happens? No, just no. So hopefully they'll go with the alien route. Now, we did see that in Spider-Man 3, but it can still work. They just have Oscorp say that they found this uh, extraterrestrial substance, and they're seeing what its capabilities are. It probably has some medicinal properties like curing cancer or any other disease, and that would be a great setup. And I'd be completely fine with that. And we also just got some news not too long ago that the people working on the story of the Amazing Spider-Man, like Roberto Orci, Alex Kurtzman, Mark Webb, uh, James, uh, I forget what his last name was, are officially creating their own Spider-Man cinematic universe, just like how Marvel's doing with their Marvel Cinematic Universe, and DC's doing with their DC Cinematic Universe. We'll get back to that part. And what they're doing different from Marvel is that they're going to have their own Sinister Six movie. So instead, you know how like Marvel makes movies to expand upon their heroes, Sony is being more innovative and doing a movie to expand upon their villains and their motives and the reason why they could become a Sinister Six to begin with. And that seems really interesting. So, Sony, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, Sony. You're doing good. Now, here's the really good part. We just got our trailer for Godzilla. Yes, it's the 2014 American reboot of Godzilla. It will have absolutely nothing to do with 1998 Zilla. And wow, I have not seen a trailer this good in a long time. So it starts off with this eerie music and the soldiers on a plane getting instructions. Getting instructions from their commander, saying that they're going to drop off into this city, but there's some things that they haven't quite expected. But he feels confident that they can handle it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent them in there. And when they jump in there with these red flare things, I don't know what they're called because I'm not familiar with military tech. It literally looks like hell on earth. There's smoke, fire, lightning everywhere. And when we get a point of view shot from one of the soldiers, he thinks that there's some kind of destroyed building, but he sees it moves. And when he sees this one of the soldiers getting closer to that building, it turns out to be Godzilla. But he's clouded in shadow, so we can't really see all that much what he looks like. But we can get pretty much the shape of it, and he looks a lot bigger than his previous incarnations. So I think he'd be about 500 feet tall this time. So yeah, and then we cut into other shots of um, buildings being destroyed. They even made one reference to the 1998 Godzilla movie where there's a building that has a hole in it. Yes, I know that's physically impossible, but it's still pretty cool regardless, so we'll roll with it. We also get to see people being locked in a radiation vault. The people picking up a nuclear missile, I believe. So it's obviously going to be focused on how man's carelessness with radiation and nature is causing it to backfire. And Godzilla's like the wrath of God taking vengeance. And then we finally get to see, hear Godzilla's roar. And it sounds menacing. It sounds like the old roar, but the first part sounds like a screech and a bellowing at the end. Oh, so excited. And we also got some news about the X-Men movies. Aside from Days of Future Past, which is I'm really excited for because it's gonna do some crossing with the traditional X-Men movies and X-Men First Class, and from what Bryan Singer said, it's gonna retcon some things from X-Men 3. So we might get some characters back, like maybe Jean Grey and Scott Summers. Yeah, that'd be great. But we also get some news from Bryan Singer when he was on Twitter saying Apocalypse 2016, which means that he's aiming to have an X-Men movie featuring the X-Men's biggest villain, Apocalypse. Now, for those who don't know, Apocalypse is the one of the first mutants to ever exist in the X-Men series, and is extremely powerful, and has adopted the survival of the fittest mentality, and feels that humans and mutants that are too weak to survive in what he considers to be his perfect world should be extinguished. So yeah, this is pretty much Apocalypse is to X-Men what Thanos is to any of the other Marvel superheroes. So, and I have been begging for an Apocalypse live action appearance for a long time. I wonder if, so I'm kind of wondering if Days of Future Past will hint at Apocalypse. So yeah, Marvel seems to be doing pretty good. And now let's see what else. Here's one bit of news that's a bit concerning. So apparently, Man of Steel 2, aka Superman versus Batman, or Superman meets Batman, or whatever it's called, is going to have a third hero, and it's Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's right. The godmother of all female superheroes is going to be in a Superman Batman movie. And it's not helped by the fact that they've got this woman named Gal Gadot to be playing Wonder Woman. And I can tell you right now, just from looking at her, she's not Wonder Woman. Now before you guys start commenting in the box, I'm not like those other people who are saying she can't be Wonder Woman because she doesn't have big tits or a big ass. No, because that's just disgusting. I mean, not that. I mean, but just the fact that you pick a person. That you think a person is not worthy to play this character just because they don't have these assets. No. My problem with Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman is because she doesn't have that presence. I mean, she's not muscular at all, though that could be fixed with exercising. I just don't feel that air that she is a powerful woman who strongly holds on to her beliefs and will do anything to keep them. She stands up for feminist values. And I was watching Erod, the Blockbuster's video, how he was saying that he was also concerned with this, and he brought up to my attention that that WB might have done this because Paul Walker just died, rest in peace, and that WB might just be doing this. Might be casting her just to get attention from that. And if that's the case, that is one of the most deplorable things I have ever seen in my entire life, if that's true. So, yeah, this is a little concerning. And what's worse is that Wonder Woman is not going to be the main focus of this movie. She'll probably be reduced to a mere cameo, which is kind of insulting. She deserves her own movie. Do they not think that she can handle a live-action movie? We've already had a Wonder Woman movie, which was on the straight-to-DVD animated movie, which was pretty good. All they have to do is just translate what happened in that movie and do it in live action. And then you got your Wonder Woman movie. And they got into like 2016 or whatever to start doing for Justice League, so they got plenty of time to do a solo Wonder Woman movie. So my advice to Warner Bros. Is to either fire Gal Gadot and replace her with another actress and put her in a Wonder Woman solo movie, or you get Gal Gadot to shape up and do something with Wonder Woman that is so good that I won't mind her being in a Superman Batman movie. But if anybody wants to know who I would have personally picked to play Wonder Woman, I would have picked the woman who played Mira in Spartacus. Yeah, she seemed very strong, very competent second in command to Spartacus, was capable of fighting, and she's familiar with the Greco-Roman fighting style when she took gladiatorial training for the TV show. And she has the black hair, pretty much the similar look of Wonder Woman. So all she would have to do is just bulk up, and she's a pretty good actress. So yeah, that's who I would have personally picked as Wonder Woman. So on to games. Well, we finally got it, fans of The Walking Dead. They just showed off the trailer for the Walking Dead game Season 2. It starts off with flashbacks to the some of the events of the first season. Pretty much, basically, Chuck saying that in this new world, you're not too young or too old or too you're not a kid or a boy in this apocalypse. You're either alive or you're dead. And when you're alive, you have to learn skills to defend yourself, like learn how to shoot a gun, even though you might be a kid. So it's focusing on how Clementine is going to survive in the zombie apocalypse on her own, or maybe pretty much on her own, with whatever skills she learned from Lee. Before he died. The spoiler alert for anybody who didn't finish the game. And she's gonna have to learn. Does she find her own group, or does she try to find some of the survivors of her old group, or does she just stick on her own because she's learned not to trust people, because in the zombie apocalypse it's pretty much everybody for themselves, and there's some pretty crazy people there. So I'm pretty interested in seeing how that happens. I want to know how it would work out playing being the player of a. How old would she be at this point? 9, 10? I don't know. She'd probably be between 9 and 10 years old, and which means she wouldn't be as physically strong as Lee, so she would have to find new ways to defend herself. Probably like shooting zombies when she needs to, or trying to outsmart them and find creative ways to kill them. She'll also have to try to apply those to humans in case that they try to kill her. And from what Telltale Games told us, that this story is going to get a lot darker than the first season. So yeah, that's going to be really heavy shit going on. So I also want to know what happened with Krista and Omid, and I wonder if Krista is finally going to have the baby that a lot of fans suspected she was having. But they pretty much confirmed that at the last episode. So yeah, we got a lot of good things happening soon, especially for 2014. I got Amazing Spider-Man, X-Men, Godzilla, And let's see. Oh, Todd McFarlane just recently said that then in 2014 he's going to try starting production of his Spawn reboot, and a lot of Spawn fans have been hoping that they would reboot Spawn because the 1997 movie was not so good. He's going to go for a darker tone, possibly be more of a horror movie than an actual superhero movie, which would make sense since Spawn's a bit of an anti-hero from hell. So if he does it by 2014, it'll probably be released in 2015, and it will have to compete with Superman Batman movie and Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. So this is pretty interesting things going on in both Hollywood and in the game industry. So let's see if they live up to the promise.